I just got back from the airport and I am totally exhausted, so we are doing the traditional post-con bed vlog. Hello, it is April 8th, the 8th day of Veda, and I just got home from the Quidditch World Cup, and I am tired and maybe losing my voice a little bit. My whole body is sore. It hurts to put my arms up or walk downstairs, and I feel so stupid saying that because I didn't even play at the Quidditch World Cup. I mean, I ran drills with the Australian team once, but I wasn't playing there. I basically just stood at a booth for 2 days and goofed around a bunch. But cons are exhausting, dude. The Quidditch World Cup isn't even a con. I keep calling it a con because in my world it functions as a con. In fact, it functions more as a con than some of the actual cons that I go to. I go to a lot of conferences and conventions for work, but some of the ones I go to are sort of more professional networking, speaking opportunities. And then there are the ones that are more part of our nerd community, and when I go to those I run the merch booth and I film videos, and a lot of my friends are there, and we're up at ridiculously early hours, and we're on our feet all day, and then we're up partying most of the night. So those kinds of cons are exhausting. Needing multiple days of recovery kinda exhausting. And even though this was technically an athletic tournament and not a conference, all of that was still my experience at it, so to me, this trip actually kicked off my con season for the spring and summer. Woo! Con season! I am excited, just sound very tired right now. Anyways, I'm putting together a video for probably tomorrow of just all the footage that I took at the Quidditch World Cup, but I thought today I would tell you some of the stories of things that happened that I didn't manage to record. One thing I didn't record happened this morning. I got to the South Carolina Myrtle Beach airport at 5:30 a.m. this morning, and when I went through security, I was totally mistaken for a guy. I walked through the thing, and it was a woman agent who was doing the thing, and she said, okay, just stand right here after I walked through, and I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna pat me down, they're waiting to bring someone over, and an old man came over, and before I even knew what was happening, he was patting my chest down with the fronts of his hands, and that's not what the women do usually when they pat you down. It all happened really fast, and I don't usually speak up when I'm confused and confronted. I didn't say anything. He said I was good to go, and I just went and got my stuff and left. That was super interesting. I also got called Mr. Bird at the gate, which was my ticket has my name on it. Lauren, when it's spelled this way, is not a guy's name. I guess when I'm tired and wearing a backwards baseball hat, I just really look like a guy. But my flight going to the Quidditch World Cup last week was way better. Former President Jimmy Carter was actually on my flight, and he came through before the flight took off and shook the hands of every single person in the coach cabin, and he ruffled my hair, and he actually also called me young man. So that was just a theme of this weekend. And then when I got on my connecting flight, almost the entire plane was filled with McGill University students. Their entire Quidditch team, and I guess they have a massive Quidditch team because it was just all McGill students. And when I walked past some of them when I was boarding the plane, they were all talking really excitedly about someone who was on the flight. And I was like, oh my god, is another US president on this flight? But it turned out they were actually talking about my friend Paul, who's in Harry and the Potters. And the fact that they were so excited about that was actually kind of weirder than if another US president had been on the flight with us. It was super weird. One thing that I've been doing on flights now that you can keep your handheld electronics on during takeoff and landing is trying to find the best songs to listen to when the plane takes off, because the plane taking off is super cool and fun, so you gotta listen to perfect music. And I've perfected the timing on the first 2 tracks off of Polyphonic Spree's Fragile Army. Go look up those tracks and you'll get it. It's great plane taking off music. So yeah, planes happened, and the hotel that we eventually ended up staying at had a lazy river in it. What hotel even has a lazy river? It was ridiculous. After the whole tournament had ended, a bunch of us went into the lazy river, and it was not the lazy river when we were in it. It was the aggressive goofing around river, doing all kinds of stuff, and eventually it evolved into playing Quidditch because someone had brought a quaffle into the pool room, and so we had as the lazy river was pushing everyone around, so you were in constant motion, we had 3 people in the middle of all of us hold up the 3 inner tubes, so we had the 3 hoops as inner tubes, and we just kept throwing the quaffle in between them. Lazy River Quidditch. It's gonna be the new thing. I was next to Alex Benepe as we were playing, and I think he made an official decree that next year's World Cup is gonna take place in a lazy river. Be practicing for that. And in addition to the lazy river, we also ran into the ocean a couple of times. It was really, really cold, but super fun. What else happened that I didn't film? Oh, so I forgot to bring toothpaste on this trip, so I was borrowing my friend's toothpaste, and he just had this little travel size one that he had stolen from a hotel in England. I used it one day, and then the next day I was like, hey, can I borrow it again? And he gave it to me, and I put it on my toothbrush, and I was like, oh, this looks a little different than last time. And I started brushing with it, and I was like, this tastes a little different than I remember yesterday. And I'm like, man, the English must have really weird toothpaste. I keep brushing, and then I glance down at the tube, and I see that it doesn't say toothpaste, it says shaving cream. It was a little travel-sized tube of shaving cream that I brushed my teeth with. And of course, besides all of this silliness, we also did work. We sold lots of t-shirts and collected lots of books for the HPA. And at the end of the cup, like we do every time we sell merch, we collected all of our leftovers into a box to ship to DFTBA. But this time the box of leftover merch wasn't quite full enough, so we decided to fill it with random things that we found around Vendor's Village. Here's a peek at a couple of things we put in. We threw a lot more in after that, but I didn't record or take a picture of any of it. But it just occurred to me, one of the people who works at DFTBA is also doing Veda this year. So, Mr. Matthew Gatos, if you were around when this package arrives at the warehouse, you should totally open it on camera and put it in your Veda. I forgot if they said it'll arrive Thursday or Monday, but if you can, you should totally film like a haul video of what the HPA sent to DFTBA. That would be fun. That is about all I can remember that I didn't record that happened. That's vaguely interesting to tell you about. I hope you have all been well. I'm going to rest my voice and my muscles and sleep off the fun that I had. Bye.